So this is an aerial photo of Klaserie Dam whilst it was drought. So the surface was a heck of a lot smaller than it is today. So basically what that allows me to do is it allows me to see all the bottom contours of the areas that I'm fishing. So what I've noticed is that just across from me in the little bay on my right there's an area with a whole bunch of points coming right out into the water for at least probably 30 to 40 meters. Now those are excellent points to intercept patrolling fish that are coming around those bends, and if you've got baits on those points, it's quite likely that the fish will find your bait and follow them, feed on them until they find your rigs. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cross-reference this with a Google image of what we have here now, and that way I can quite likely pinpoint the right bait to intercept the fish on. So I'm moving one of my rods off of a deeper area that I've tried onto that area there in the hope to find a fish. Alright, so I'd just quickly like to touch on the changing weather, the ever-changing weather, and longer sessions like this one. We can't order the weather ahead of time, unfortunately. So what's happened here is we came here and the temperatures were lovely. Air pressure was quite low. We had 30 degrees Celsius temperatures during the day, low air pressure, ideal fishing conditions, and the second day into the session, 360 degree turnaround. Cold weather, 15 degrees. It's a 15 degree drop in temperature within a period of 24 to 48 hours, and strong winds, high air pressure, so definitely a big shock for the fish. Under those circumstances, you can stick to a plan, but also bear in mind that it could be productive to also be quite flexible in your approach. So basically that's really what I'm getting at now, is I'm actually changing a couple of areas around, just based on what I've heard from another angler up the river, Barne. He caught the fish in shallow water. I'm going to give it a good go now and see whether I can't change my fortunes. So I'm not giving up. I'm going into this head first, taking a gamble, and who knows, it could pay off. I am here for one reason, and that is to catch a big mirror. It's my absolute dream is to catch a big Klaserie Dam mirror, and hopefully we can pull it off today. So let's see. So that was a little mouse trap, very carefully put into place there. Beautiful area. It's a point just coming out of a tiny little reedy bay, all gravel, and there's definitely some, I don't know whether it's carp, but there's something feeding inside the bay. Can't put a rod inside there though. If I get a pickup inside that bay, it's game over. Fish will take me straight into those reeds there. I'll never see it again. However, the way that I'm going to fish this particular spot is virtually completely locked up. I'm going to fish the drag really tight. Lead's going to drop off on the take, and I've got quite a strong hook on there as well. So it's a hook and hold situation, the 43 pound monofilament Kingfisher sea fishing leader, and big strong number 2 core curve shank hook with double tiger nut hook bait. I'm doing now is I'm just trying to keep the boat as straight as possible because we're going to be fishing a long distance out. So we don't want to bow in the line. Alright, so you saw me using the H block marker and you saw me removing it as well. That's the important part. So what I do with the H block is, especially in windy conditions, luckily it's a slack area, but it's still a great tool to use even in slack conditions. What you do is you drop your H block marker on a good looking spot, if you found one on your fish finder. Then that gives you a reference point from which you can use your rod or a piece of line with a huge lead on the end, and you can donk it on the bottom to find any possible problems, any possible snags or rocks. Because what happened to me yesterday is I dropped off a rig on my spot on the one point here. I was under the impression it's a clean spot, the fish finder didn't show up any stones or rocks on the bottom. Lowered the rig, lo and behold, the lead bounces off a rock, and I instantly knew that my hook had been blunted. So truth bob, I pick up the rig, hook's blunt. So that cost me coming all the way back out, getting a new rig, going all the way back. So that's another 20-minute waste of time. So basically what the H block helps you do is investigate an area carefully before you put your rig on. Okay, so that way you know exactly where to drop your rig. Once you've dropped your rig, then pull off a couple of meters of line, let it go slack, and then get back to the H block. Quickly hoist it back up, hoist the lead back up from the bottom to the boat, and go back to the bank. A little note on fishing gravelly areas, especially in crosswinds. I'm using an 8-ounce lead. Okay, so there's no guarantee that it won't drag the lead if there's a big wind cutting across the water, but at least using an 8-ounce lead I think minimizes your risk. What you should really pay attention to when you're fishing a gravel area, especially because your lead slips quite easily on gravel, is to very carefully straighten your line when you get to the bank. Okay, so what you need to do is use your indicator, your springer arm or your swinger or whatever it is that you use to help straighten out your line. So don't tug on your line, don't pull it, because you, especially with braid mainline like I'm using now, you're bound to move your lead. Okay, so just let it straighten out, take your time. You're placing that rig for a possible fish of a lifetime. Take your time. So this bite came off of a spot that I moved the rod to last night, but I'm not sure whether it's a carp. It's been playing in a very funny manner, very much barbly. It's underneath the other rod there. Keep the rod to blow. Back. Okay, we're nearly there. Must say, I think it could be a barbel. It hasn't even surfaced yet. I'm nearly on the leader. Okay, we're on the nylon leader now. If it's a barbel, it's going to be one of the bigger ones. But the carp in here do put up a big fight, so mind you, I did hook this fish, what, 500 meters out? So it hasn't surfaced once. I'm really thinking we've got a barbel on the line here. very well be a ball. It's a carp. It's a carp. Decent fish as well. It's not a very big one. But I'll tell you what, when the going is as tough as it is now, well, this is such a welcome sight. It's a sight for sore eyes. It. Nearly there. Yes! 4 days. 4 days for that one. 4 days. Believe it or not. This should be a good 20 pounder. Hee. Happy days. Still a bit angry. So let's get her on the bank. So as I always say, if you are going to lift a fish onto a sling or a mat, ensure that the fins are tucked flat against the body. And then just slide it on there. Nice and careful. Just ensuring you don't hurt the fins especially. Okay, all the fins are safe, and we can now move the fish to the bank. Let's quickly reveal the stunning common carp. It's funny, I've never had very good luck with mirrors. I'm always hoping for big mirrors. Like I said, I won't complain. So if you've got your fish on the mat, just ensure that the rig is out the way, so it won't hook you or back into the fish. Just get rid of that. And just going to zip this up quickly. So the fish is in the mat, it's safe. We're going to transfer it to the wasting. But that we'll do on the bank because there's always a risk that it could go missing. Okay, nice and zipped up in the mat, it's all safe and sound. If I look a little worse for wear, then that's because I probably am. I've been enduring winds and very low temperatures and uncooperative carp. So this has come as a massive relief. Wasting's wet, now you need to zero your scales. It's a bit windy, but we'll try our best. Okay, you'll see that the scale is over by 2 pounds there. Okay, so you just turn the knob on the scale, and you'll see there that the reading is exactly 0. So basically this fish came off a brand new spot. I've moved most of my rods to different areas, and it shows you, even late in the game, so we've only got another day left, you can still make changes to save your session. A lot of people like to use the tripods to weigh their fish. I think if it's a truly massive fish or a potential PB, then that's fine. But I find those tripods just weigh you down, and it's just more non-essential gear that you carry around with you. I can call my lovely assistant, Dean. Just quickly gonna hoist the fish up. Okay. So that's not there. Okay, let's take a reading.
Okay. 30 on the dot.
30 on the dot.
30. 30. Just over 30. Squeeze the van quickly.
£30 and 4 ounces. Hold on. Difficult seeing in reverse. Let's just turn the scale over. Okay. So that is 31 pound. That's 14 kilo. 31 pounds on the dot. Great. Okay, let's just give her a bit of water for a second, and then we'll do the photos. Has a lot of width across its shoulders. What a stunning common. Yeah. So this one was hooked off a spot that I found with cross references from Google Earth and an old satellite image of the dam when it was dry. It's an aggressive point that runs into the water in a cider bay. Perfect place to intercept fish. As they come across or around that point in the bay, they must cross your baited path, because what you do is you bait from the reeds or the margins right into deep water, and you place your rig somewhere along that baited line. In this case it was in 8 foot of water on a sandy bottom. Very short hook link. You know, if you're fishing particles, it's important to fish a short hook link. Huge big hooks. Crank hooks, quarter crank hooks in a size 2, double tagenite hook bait, and a bit of putty just to help turn that hook quicker. And then the hook link was a thick 50-pound coated hook link, 45-pound shock leader on there as well, just so you can power the fish away from any snags. And yes, well, here's the result. Stunning Klaserie 30-pound common. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around, show you the other end of it. There we go. That's the other end of the mighty Klaserie common. Devourer of mussels and snails, and tagonites, and mates, and hip. I'm sure anything else that fits in his mouth. We're entering our last night on Klaserie, and even if I don't get another fish for the rest of the session, I'll leave a much wiser angler. I've learnt a lot in this session, and I'll leave a happy angler as well. Yes! Oh, there we go. 31 pounds of stunning Klaserie carp going back to her home. The way it should be. Good morning and welcome to our last morning of the Klaserie session. It's a very sad morning in the sense that we're leaving today and the weather conditions have only just improved. But I'm still a happy angler, very privileged to have fished a week at Klaserie. It's an amazing place, I'm definitely coming back. And very privileged to have caught two stunning common carp, both over 30 pounds. I couldn't be happier with the result. Under the circumstances, the fishing was very tough. Weather conditions were hectic, extremely cold, really cold, wet, strong winds of up to 51 kilometers an hour at times. So the fishing wasn't easy, placing rigs wasn't easy, everything was a bit of a challenge, but it made the result so much better, or so much more of a result in my view.